Congressman Chuck Edwards is making his way through all 15 counties he represents in North Carolina's 11th district.
That includes most of western North Carolina, and News 13's Taylor Thompson spoke with the congressman in Haywood County about what he's doing for you in Washington.
Representative Edwards is back in his district for the week and says he's not wasting any time as he wants to show all of his constituents that he's here to serve the people back at home. Edwards says he was pleasantly surprised the calendar in Congress allows him to be in his district at least 1 week a month. A luxury he said they did not have in the North Carolina legislature. Things that are on people's minds. What is it that you're trying to bring of the important issues from here to D.C.?
The number one issue on everybody's mind is the horrible inflation that they're experiencing right now.
Another thing he's hearing is gratitude from his constituents.
A true appreciation that me and my staff are taking the time this week to work all 15 counties and get out and meet folks. It's something that they're not accustomed to.
Edwards has been battling it out with predecessor Madison Cawthorn when it comes to receiving constituent casework.
He did not sign the form, as you probably heard, that he needed to sign for us to be able to transfer the documents, but we're overcoming that.
He says they've hired a staff that he's assured will be able to serve the people of this district.
And I'm confident that as casework comes to us that has not been dealt with in the past, that we're going to effectively be able to deal with it.
When it comes to the federal debt limit, Edwards says it's unfortunate they have to deal with the spending of congressional members of the past.
Our federal government has been so irresponsible in the level of spending. We have a new House majority right now that I think, well, I'm confident is going to change that trajectory.
While he has yet to be invited to join the Freedom Caucus, Edwards says he aligns with what they stand for.
Limited government, fiscal responsibility, protecting our Constitution and our freedoms.
And Edwards says he's just been appointed to the Transportation and Infrastructure Committee and believes his work on that committee will make a huge difference for the people in western North Carolina.
New developments today. Henderson County leaders delay a vote that could change the way the county's school board is elected.
News 13's Andrew James tells us about the concerns from the community and what happens next.
Many people showed up to the Henderson County Commission meeting Wednesday hoping this vote would be delayed. Some I talked to say they still question why this change is being proposed. A resolution supporting identifying Henderson County school board candidates by their political party on the primary and general election ballot will not be voted on until at least February. This comes after community pushback about the resolution and concerns about transparency.
And the fact that had it passed, there would have been no opportunity for public comment concerns us greatly.
The voters and the citizens of Henderson County should have the right to be able to weigh in on this.
Blair Craven is the chair of the Henderson County Board of Education. He says he was not made aware that this possible change was being discussed by county leaders.
It gives people less information and less trust in the process if they try to bury it in consent agenda without any public comment on it.
He's pleased the vote was delayed and hopes this will allow for community dialogue around the potential change and the reasoning behind it. There is concern from community members, even some school board members who I've talked to about the transparency of this process, and they feel like this was just buried in the consent agenda. What is your response to those concerns?
Well, the consent agenda is just that. It helps you move something along, and I think maybe we didn't look at it thoroughly enough when it was put in consent agenda, and that was something that we should have done differently.
Henderson County Commission Chair Rebecca McCall says she supports the proposal to make the Board of Education partisan, but understands that the timing of the vote in a meeting without public comment raised concerns. She hopes the delayed vote will make time for more public input.
We want to have the opportunity to talk more with the school board members about the possibility of this resolution.
It's important to remember that if this resolution passes, it is just the first step in the process. Ultimately, the decision to make this change would come from the North Carolina General Assembly.
You may be familiar with the Booze It and Lose It campaign, which is designed to fight impaired driving.
News 13's Rex Hodge reports the program is getting an upgrade, and it's starting right here in our mountains.
The new Booze It and Lose It campaign has new signage and also a lot of emphasis on those CAM bracelets, those continuous alcohol monitoring bracelets.
This project is something that's not occurring in other cities or other states.
The head of the North Carolina Governor's Highway Safety Program, Mark Ezell, outlined the updated Booze It and Lose It campaign at the old Haywood County Courthouse, appropriate since the pilot program applies now to Haywood and 6 other western counties. It includes training on the cam bracelets. They detect the presence of alcohol in a person's sweat and can be applied to the ankle of someone while awaiting court. The objective? To stop repeat DWI offenses and keep the public safe.
Try to identify high-risk offenders and make sure that we increase their accountability and hopefully lower recidivism.
Mothers Against Drunk Driving, a big cam bracelet advocate, wanting to see more use of them.
In terms of its implementation, it's still a little bit piecemeal?
Yeah, because it's always about the cost. Hopefully we'll produce some success with this project, and then they'll decide to do some funding.
Mountain Representative Mike Clampett says he'll push in the General Assembly for more money.
I'll be looking at getting more funding for cam bracelets, not just for the Western North Carolina, but for the entire state.
The revamped campaign will also provide more training on alcohol treatment options, new surveillance techniques, and new ways to address impaired driving before it happens. The endeavor requires partnerships with law enforcement, court officials, treatment centers, and local media. Catherine Barnes applauds the upgrades.
This driver never let off the gas.
She lost her husband to a drunk driver in a 2016 head-on collision in Jackson County and doesn't want to see any more.
Each and every one of you play an integral part in seeing that happens, that nobody else has to do this.
Our hope is to run this project for the next 6 months, evaluate how successful it's been, possibly make tweaks.
The hope is for this updated campaign to have more stick statewide and bring down those DWI numbers.